I do know people who just don't have any procrastination whatsoever. They just get into things immediately. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, oh, you start a presentation? Sure, let me just start it. It's to the CEO, doesn't matter, right? They have no problem starting. And they have this very intense desire to finish something that they started as well. The problem I have is I can start something, but sometimes if it's a difficult, high stakes, high leverage thing, I find it very hard to finish it. And I certainly find it very hard to finish it on time. I give myself aggressive deadlines, but still, I routinely miss my own aggressive deadlines. There are some people who are somewhat immune to this procrastination issue. And what I've observed is those folks, they have an extremely high degree of respect for completion and checking things off a list. And the source of that respect is just the rush they get when they finish a task. They get a huge rush of the right brain chemicals. So it feels really good for them to quickly start and finish tasks. That's a great quality to have. And it's actually great to partner with somebody who has that tendency, whether that's your engineering partner or a co founder or all other things being compatible, it can work well. Now, I will say the challenge with most of these situations with folks who have this tendency, which is again strictly an asset, okay, is that if you have very good taste, you will often be dissatisfied with what they produce. The downside of this situation is there are people who can get started very quickly, they end very quickly. But for things that require a high degree of creativity, finesse, judgment, you will be dissatisfied with their output on those things. Now, note that is usually not the majority of things we do. The majority of things we do are mundane. And in terms of the LNO framework, there are many N tasks and O tasks that need to be done, and they don't need to be done extremely well. That's where I try to leverage team members' help, especially when they have their skill, because they can ensure that forward progress is happening. But if I give them an L task, then sometimes there is struggle and there is a lot of back and forth. With them, there is also sometimes confusion because they're like, well, it's done and it's good enough. Like, what do you mean? It's good enough to ship. Sometimes, as a person who understands that certain things just need to have a higher bar, not everything we do, but certain things we do need to have a higher bar, you may need to just have a little more oversight over the output in those cases. And then over time, help them understand why it is that you want to have that higher bar for those types of activities.